life. And I honestly still believe that hard work does still matter, particularly in our local races. And I see so many of you who have just fought battles after battles after battles. School board, county board, town council, judgeships. You guys have fought. You guys have won. Let's keep winning and let's beat Tony Evers this fall. Thank you, guys.
That is the former Lieutenant Governor, Rebecca Kleefisch, essentially conceding the race to Tim Michels. The margin of votes right now separating the two, about 22,000 votes. We have about 77% of precincts reporting at this time. Rebecca Kleefisch, of course, the former Lieutenant Governor, had the support of former Governor Scott Walker, former Vice President Mike Pence, and ran a race that really dates back to last year. Tim Michels jumps into the race much later, gets the endorsement of former President Trump, and who knows if that was the complete difference, but it certainly made some difference. And Tim Michels moments away from talking to his supporters just up the road in Waukesha tonight.
That will be the question for analysis tomorrow about what the impact of the Trump endorsement was tonight overall.
It also sets up an interesting dynamic in this race when you have Evers against Michels coming in November. And, you know, he's going to run with Roger Roth, who is more of a kind of a traditional Republican, who did bring in Mike Pompeo for a visit to the state Senate during the 2020 campaign season. But this will be very interesting the next 13 weeks leading up to Election Day on November 8th.
It'll be Michels Roth, the ticket on the Republican side, and on the Democratic side, it will be Evers and Sarah Rodriguez. Yeah, not exactly 90 days, right, until Election Day.
Yes, 13 weeks. And, of course, Rodriguez brings an interesting component to the race, too. Of course, a Brookfield Democrat in a majority Republican area in Waukesha County.
Area. Yep.
So that'll be very interesting what she brings to the race. And Roth from the Appleton area might bring something from the Appleton area. But it'll probably essentially you'll see President Trump, I would guess, at some point in the state in the next 13 weeks campaigning on behalf of Tim Michels. Tony Evers, of course, will part ways with his lieutenant governor, who he'll be running alongside Rodriguez as Mandela Barnes gets ready for an interesting 13-week run-up to the election to square off with incumbent Senator Ron Johnson.
We are waiting for Tim Michels to take the stage and to make some remarks. This is still a live picture from the Kleefisch event in Oconomowoc. Here's a look at the latest numbers now with 72% of precincts reporting.
Tim Michels, many folks might recall, ran against Russ Feingold and lost back in 2004. That was a Senate race, and then focused on his business for the majority of construction business, a major firm of some 8,000 employees for the better part of the last 18 years. And now he will be a candidate squaring off for governor against Tony Evers, the incumbent who has largely served as a blockade to everything the Republican legislature wanted to do over the course of the last 4 years, holding off two-term incumbent Scott Walker back in 2018. So this will be a very interesting election run-up for Tim Michels. We bring in our political reporter, Will Keneally. And Will, you know, it's not officially over yet, but it certainly sets up an interesting Michels-Evers battle over the next 13 weeks.
Definitely. And I think it'll be kind of that populist message that Michels brings to the campaign, kind of that Trump-esque candidate moving forward, compared to Evers, who, you know, has been governor of Wisconsin, kind of a reaction to that Walker years in early and late 2010s. Also, Evers, who kind of took the state through the pandemic. We see all these, different mask mandates and public health orders coming from Evers. We'll see to what extent that it's reaction to some of that that's coming into the campaign, as well as Biden, too. A lot of the inflation concerns and some of the Republican concerns over the economy.
Yeah, it was kind of, I was talking to Professor Charles Franklin about this, the Marquette poll director, about how this might shape up, and he'll have polls coming out in the coming weeks. But was this gonna? It was gonna be the old Republican Party in the state, being, you know, Scott Walker and Rebecca Kleefisch, but also Trump is a thing most people think of the last 4 years in the White House, but he still very much has a presence in this state. Certainly did in the 63rd Assembly District tonight, even though Robin Vos held off that challenge from Adam Steen.
Right, exactly. I think especially that 63rd Assembly District race shows kind of how uniquely Wisconsin a lot of these races are. We're tough to pin down, right? So we'll have a very kind of Trump-esque reaction to some of these candidates, but then we'll also rely on some of these old kind of conservative figures like a Voss that we'll probably see maintain power in the state assembly and a very powerful figure just in the legislature broadly come next January.
So you think that the Donald Trump endorsement still had a big impact? Or do you think most people were voting with election integrity and the candidates themselves on their minds?
I think he definitely had an impact, but I do think we see some of the powerful kind of tradition, powerful staying power of some of these kind of stalwarts. Roger Roth, for example, winning in the lieutenant governor's race. I think that is kind of emblematic of a little bit of where the Republican Party is. Roger Roth, too, who in this recent session here was very big on abortions, had like a fetal heartbeat bill that he pushed through the state Senate. So we'll see, I think, some of those issues kind of come into play as we head into November.
It was a crowded field, and Roth won it handily, as did Sarah Rodriguez on the Democratic side.
Yeah, election integrity, abortion, the two big issues, I think. Let's talk a little bit, and again, we're waiting for Tim Michels to address his supporters there in Waukesha, and I understand, just on cue, Tim Michels approaching the podium there. Let's listen in.
From day one, this race has not been about winning this primary. This race has been about getting proper executive leadership in the governor's mansion and a great governor who served the people of Wisconsin. It's been a very spirited primary, and I want to really thank, and my heart goes out to my primary opponents. Rebecca Kleefisch, a tremendous candidate, tremendous candidate. Tim Rantham, tremendous candidate as well. Great man, thank you. Adam Fisher as well, thank you. And of course, on the ballot as well, Kevin Nicholson made a great effort. Hoorah. I say to the hardworking people of Wisconsin, the people that get up at 5 a.m., take their kids to school, work hard all day, want to coach their kids' baseball team, the people that feel like the Democratic Party has left them for social issues, you are now going to have a governor that's going to stand up for the hardworking, tax-paying, law-abiding citizens of Wisconsin. That's what this race has always been about, and that's what the general election race is going to be about as well. Standing up for the hardworking people of Wisconsin. They've been left behind by the Democratic Party that just wants to focus on the social issues. From my first day in office to my very last day as governor, jobs and the economy are going to be my #1 priority. I have the executive leadership background from being a commanding officer, 12 years on active duty as an Army Ranger, to being a successful businessman, stood shoulder to shoulder with my brothers and grew this company from a few hundred to 8,000 today. And these are great family supporting jobs with great health care and great benefit. We know at Michels Corporation, if you take care of people, good things will happen. And as governor, my number one priority is to take care of the hardworking people of Wisconsin. Back in February, Barbara and I, we said, we can't take it anymore. We feel like this country's headed in the wrong direction. We feel like we're on a slippery slope towards socialism, and it's being cloaked behind all these other social issues. But we know what's happening. We can see what's going on. And we said, you know what? We're going to do everything we can to stand in the way of the tearing down of America, the America that we know and love. I'm here to say the American dream is still alive, and good people need to step up and run, and we're going to get an outsider, a businessman, and a veteran in the governor's office. And I'll tell you what, Tony Evers, he's failed the people of Wisconsin. From COVID to Kenosha, he's been a weak leader. And we are going to make him an essential worker come November. Everywhere I go, people come up to me and they say, Tim, I'm so happy that you got into this race. I am ready for a change. I'm tired of politics as usual. I'm tired of the usual politicians. I see in you, Tim, somebody who wore boots his whole life. 12 years in Army boots, on active duty as an Army Ranger. 25 years in construction, getting down and getting dirty, getting dirt under my fingernails. Since I was a young boy where I helped farmers bale hay and pick rocks, I know how to do a hard day's work. And the hardworking people of Wisconsin deserve to have a leader who understands how hard they're working and will lead by example. There's so many people to thank. This has been an incredible journey. I'll start with, of course, my lovely wife, Barbara. I think the people of Wisconsin would like her to be a great first lady, don't you think? And of course, my daughter Sophie and my son Will, they're with me 24/7 on the campaign trail. All you volunteers, all you staffers, you know that Sophie and Will work as hard as anybody out there. And that's the way we do it in the Michels family. To my campaign staff, the tireless days, the long nights, it all paid off. But all we've won is the opportunity for the next 91 days to work even harder because we have to beat Tony Evers. I'd like to thank President Trump for his support, for his endorsement. It meant so. It was a tremendous validation of our meteoric rise in this campaign. He knows that we need to have new leadership in Madison, and he sees a lot of similarities. He didn't have to run for president. I don't have to run for governor. He wanted to drain the swamp. We found out it's a really big swamp, and I know that Madison needs firm executive leadership, and that's what I'm going to do as governor. And Governor Tommy Thompson, his endorsement was so powerful as well. I am really looking forward to working with Governor Thompson over the next 3 months. He knows how to bridge the gap, how to get over the partisanship, the fighting that happens so much in Madison, and to get things done.
And that is Tim Michels, the Republican primary winner tonight in the race for governor. The 60-year-old, 18 years removed from a loss in the Senate race to Russ Feingold. He will advance to the general election to face off with Governor Evers in November. We have winners in a lot of races tonight, but we want to remind you there still are some races yet to be called. Our crew will be here all night tracking those results.
We will have a lot more coverage tomorrow morning on News 3 Now this morning, including a live interview with Democratic Senate candidate Mandela Barnes and complete analysis from a political science professor who will put all of tonight's races into context.
And in the meantime, you can take a closer look at any of the races we followed tonight at channel3000.com, where races are refreshing every minute. It's your one-stop shop for all of your election results. And we will also, before we go, check in briefly on that Assembly District race in the 63rd Assembly District, where it has just been called, we understand, for Assembly Speaker Robin Vos, one of the longest-serving Assembly Speakers in the country. He has been declared the winner tonight by a mere, well, look at the numbers, 260 votes separating him and the Trump-endorsed little-known Adam Steen, giving him a run for his money tonight in the Wisconsin Assembly 63rd District. There is no Democrat in the general in that, so basically Vos is your winner, and we'll be back for another term in the state assembly. So we'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks for joining us again. All your results at channel3000.com.
Realistic, common
Thank
sense
you for
guy.
watching
Everywhere I go,
News 3
people
Now
say,
at 10,
"Tim,
everybody,
you
and
seem like
the
you're a
extended
genuine
coverage
guy." That's
here
the
as
way I
Tim
was born and
Michels
raised.
gives a
Northern Dodge County, my little town of
celebration
Brownsville,
speech, basically,
population
after
342.
being named the winner in the Republican primary for governor. So he will go on to face Governor Tony
where I learned my
Evers
work
in
ethic, but you know what I
November.
learned is even
His
more
running mate
important?
will be
Your word is your
State
bond.
Senator Roger
When you
Roth,
shake
who
somebody's
won
hand and you say you're gonna
the
do something,
lieutenant governor
that's as good as
primary
gold.
for
We need
the
more of that
Republican
in
side.
America.
They
We
will
need
be
more of
going up
that
against, of
Wisconsin,
course,
and we need
Governor
more of
Tony
that in
Evers,
government,
and then
and that's what
State
I'm gonna do as
Representative
governor.
Sarah
Give
Rodriguez
you
won
my
the Democratic primary for lieutenant governor as well. Before we go tonight, I do want to kind of go through some of the other races that we have been following all night, in addition to this all-important governor's race. So I will pop over to our election results page over on channel3000.com. As we've been following those results all night, as you heard our team mention here, the results have been updating every minute. And you see now that check mark next to Tim Michels' name as the AP has called him the winner in this race. About 80% of the votes have been counted, but deemed to be too big of a deficit for Rebecca Kleefisch to make up. Michels leading the race by about 4% right now. Going through some of the other races, the Attorney General's race still too close to call with 82.7% of votes counted. Eric Toney currently leading that race. As you just heard, too, Robin Vos very narrowly winning re-election for his seat, so he will continue on in the 63rd Wisconsin Assembly District. As I mentioned, Roger Roth winning that lieutenant governor's race, so he will stand next to Tim Michels on the Republican ticket in November. Amy Loudenbeck wins the GOP primary for Secretary of State. She will go up against Doug LaFollette, the incumbent who won his primary on the Democratic side tonight. State Treasurer's race, John Lieber defeats Orlando Owens. And we've got a number of state assembly races across the area still being tabulated as well. You can go and get all of those results at channel3000.com. Popping over to the Democratic side real quick here. Of course, as we mentioned, Mandela Barnes, the winner in the U.S. Senate race on the Democrat side, as expected, after basically every other candidate in the race stepped aside and endorsed him in the last couple of weeks here. In the 3rd district, to replace Ron Kind, Brad Pfaff right now leading by 18 percentage points with 43% of the vote in. He seems to be well ahead in that race as well. As I mentioned, Sarah Rodriguez, the winner in the lieutenant governor's race. Doug LaFollette also winning his primary against Alexia Sabor. The Wisconsin Democrat primary, still votes being counted right now. About 2/3 of those votes in Jillian Bettino right now, 37% of the vote, but neck and neck with Aaron Richardson right now. So those votes still being tabulated overnight here. And a number of other state assembly and state senate races here in the Madison area and across the state. Melissa Ratcliffe, 99% of the votes in, looks to be on her way to winning the primary for the 46th State Assembly District. Alex Jors ahead in the 79th, and Mike Baer right now with almost 60% of the votes counted at 47.5%. So all these results still coming in overnight, but the big ones have been decided. So as we mentioned, Mandela Barnes, the winner in the U.S. Senate race, will go on to face Ron Johnson. Tim Michels will go on to face Tony Evers in November. We're going to have a lot more coverage in the days to come. Be sure to watch News 3 Now this morning, by the way. We will have an exclusive one-on-one interview with Mandela Barnes as he has now become the Senate nominee. So be sure to tune in there for a live interview tomorrow morning on News 3 Now this morning. We have recaps of all these races in addition to all these raw numbers and the interactive maps and everything where you can look at all these results. We have articles breaking down these races as well, each individual race. So be sure to check out channel3000.com tonight and this morning or tomorrow morning, as most of these results still continue to come in. And of course, we will have all the follow-up stories for the next 3 months as we now enter the next phase of this campaign, heading into the November general election, expected to be a very highly funded campaign, to say the least, from the national scale, with both Republicans and Democrats having their eyes set on the governorship and that U.S. Senate seat as well. So a lot of campaign ads are coming our way, and we're going to break down all of that stuff over the next 3 months. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, everybody, as we continue to follow all these results. Election nights, you never quite know what's going to happen, and there were definitely some unexpected results tonight. So we're going to continue to break it all down in the coming days here over at channel3000.com. In the meantime, we will sign off for the night. Be sure to keep checking our website for those updated results as well. Thanks for watching, everyone.